So today we are going to talk about Cluster 5B Day 10 Notes, which is basically for the assignment for April the 3rd, okay? And today's notes will just cover everything we've done in Cluster 5B, okay? So it's just a cluster review, okay? So here we go. Number one, Gina lives 2,640 feet directly north of the school, and Carla lives 1,760 feet directly west of the school. There is a trail between the two houses as shown on the diagram below. So basically all this information they gave me, they went ahead and drew the design out for us, okay, the diagram. Now the question is very simple. What is the distance, or which distance is the closest approximation for the length of the trail? So we're obviously looking at the distance of the trail, okay? Distance of the trail. So looking at my picture, if we look at the trail, there we go. So that means we're looking for that distance or that length. And I'm going to put a big question mark there because that's what we're looking for. And if you notice, this is a right triangle. So that means we're going to have to use my theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay? So across from the 90-degree angle is your letter C, which is the hypotenuse. The other two sides are your A and your B, which are known as the legs of the triangle. Okay? So for A, I'm going to plug in 2640 square plus B, which is 1760 square, equals C square, because that's what we're looking for. Okay? Now I don't have to jailbreak anything because I have both numbers on the same side. So go ahead and open Desmos. Okay, so we are going to do 2640 square. And don't forget the square is this button right there, which has the a to the power of 2. If you click that button, it will give you the exponent of 2, okay? And then plus 1760 square. Yep. So we get this really big number, okay, which is 100,772,000. Or wait, let me double check. 106700. Okay, so I messed that up. So 100,672,000. Okay, there we go. It's 10,067,200. Okay, equals C squared. So make sure you copy that number down correctly, and don't forget a 0. Now the opposite of a square is square root. So the square root of that number, let's see what we get. Square root, don't forget the square root symbol is down here. So it'd be 100,672,000. Okay, and we get 3172.88. 3172.88. And clearly that just rounds to 3173, which is answer choice B. Okay, moving on. Number 2. Okay, we have a right triangle shown below. What is the measurement of the missing side? So we're looking for X. Across from the 90-degree angle is your letter C. The other two sides are A and B. So using my theorem, okay, A squared plus B squared equals C squared, we get 6 squared plus B squared equals 10 squared. Okay, then I'm going to jailbreak 6 squared to the other side, which becomes minus 6 squared because the opposite of a positive is a negative. So B squared equals, let's go ahead and go to Desmos and type that in. 10 square minus 6 square, and we get 64. Okay. The opposite of a square is square root, so you're left with b equals, and you can go to Desmos and type that in, but I know that the square root of 64 is 8. So that means my answer will be B, because the missing side equals 8 centimeters. Okay? Moving on to number 3. The length of a football field is 360 feet and the width is 160 feet. I'm going to go ahead and draw myself a football field, and we have 360 by 160. It really doesn't matter where you put those two numbers. You could have said 360 by 160. Doesn't make a difference, okay? What is the approximate length of the diagonal, okay? So they want to know the length of the diagonal. So remember, a diagonal is from one corner to the other. And so if we're looking for that, I'm going to put a little question mark. So across from the 90-degree angle, which is right there, that's your letter C, the other two sides are A and B. Okay? Now I can use my theorem. Let's see. 360 squared plus 160 squared equals C squared. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay? Now using Desmos, let's type that number in. 360 squared plus 160 square gives me 155,200 equals C square. Now the opposite of a square is square root. So you're left with, let's do the square root of 155,200, and I get 393.95. 393.95. And because they said they wanted an approximation, clearly this rounds to answer choice C, 394. Okay? Let's move on. We are not going to do number 4. If you want the answer for number 4, it is C. Okay? If you have any questions about number 4 and you want me to work it out, just let me know and I will send you an explanation of how to work this out. Okay? But example 4 is just like example number 2 on page 238. Okay? So if you need an example of 4, just go back to page 238 and look at number 2, and there it is. Okay? Number 5, what is the approximate distance between these 2 points? So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get my graph paper. Remember, you should have received 3 of these when you went to pick up your green book, and they're front and back. Okay? So let's start off by graphing these 2 points. Okay? So we have -4, 3. -4, +3. Okay, and then we have +1 and +2. Okay. Connect. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. I'm going to put a question mark on that. Okay. So now, because we're dealing with distance, I need to be able to recreate a right triangle so I can be able to use my theorem. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here and go up, okay, and then go over. until I touch the other dot. Okay? Now let's count the values. So that will be 1. So that's 1 unit there. And then from the corner over to the other red dot, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, using this triangle, I'm going to go ahead and find my A, B, C. Okay. So across, you know what? This triangle is a little bit small. Okay, it's kind of hard to see. So what I'm going to do is, now that I have my measurements and everything, I'm going to transfer it over here to this paper, okay? Since we have our numbers, we don't need the graph anymore. That way, we will have a better picture. So we know this was 5, we know this was 1, and this was a question mark, okay? You see? It's a little bit bigger, better to look at, okay? And of course, this is a 90-degree angle. So here we go. Across from the 90-degree angle is your letter C. The other two sides are A and B. So using our theorem, A squared, which is 5 squared, plus B squared, which is 1 squared, equals C squared. Okay? Now 5 squared plus 1 squared should give me 26. Okay? And you can use Desmos to check that out and double check that I did that correctly. Then the opposite of a square is square root. So the square root of 26, let's see what we get. Square root of 26, and we get 5.09. Clearly that rounds to answer choice B, 5.1. Okay? And now let's do the last problem, number 7. What is the approximate volume of the cone? So before we get into these problems, let me go ahead and give you the formulas, okay? So for a cylinder, in case you forgot, a cylinder looks like a soda can. Okay? That will be pi r squared times the height. For a cone, which clearly looks like a cone, and don't be jealous of my picture, is pi r squared times the height divided by 3. Remember, because it takes 3 cones to make up one cylinder, so if we're going the other way, we have to divide by 3, break it up into 3 parts. And last but not least is the sphere. Sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay? So there's your formulas. So obviously we're going to use the formula for a cone to figure that out. So pi times r squared times the height divided by 3. I need my radius and I need my height. Clearly the height is the easiest because it's how tall the shape is. So the height is 7. Now the radius is half of the diameter. They told you the diameter is 10, so half of that will be 5. Okay? So basically you can say 10 divided by 2, which is 5, or just cut 10 in half. So now that we have our values, we can go ahead and say pi times 5 squared times 7, which is the height, divided by 3. So let's go to Desmos, type that in. Okay, so we have pi. Now pi is all the way down here beside where the square root symbol is at. So pi, okay, 5, or you can just say times 5 squared times 7 divided by, ooh, that is not what I wanted. Let's fix that. Actually, before, it's going to be a little bit different than what we're typically used to on the graphing calculator. Let's go ahead and click the division symbol first. Okay, so if you click the division symbol first, it gives you your fraction setup. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. It will be a lot easier if we just go ahead and click the division symbol first. Okay, so now let's take care of the top. Pi times 5 squared times 7, and then just click to the next line, divided by 3. And you do not have to click division again, okay? It's automatically there. Okay, so clearly the volume of this cone is 183.25. 183.25. And that clearly rounds to answer choice B. Now, I believe on the SchoolNet assignment, you will have problems that have a sphere, which if you notice, you have an exponent of 3, okay? If you have any questions about how to put an exponent of 3, I'm about to show you, okay? So let's say we have 7 to the power of 3. So I have my 7. Okay? Now, to be able to add any type of exponent, something that's other than 2, you will click the little button that is right beside the 8 or the a to the power of 2. You will see something that says a to the power of b. So if you click that little button and you notice, it automatically sends you up there as an exponent, just like it would on the yellow calculators, okay? And now I can type in 3. Okay, or any exponent that you want, okay? You can type in 7 to the power of 4, 7 to the power of 9, 7 to the power of 1,000, okay?